Hello and welcome to another video, and good afternoon from a very stormy New Orleans, Louisiana. Behind me you can see the Union Passenger Terminal here in New Orleans, and I'm about to take Amtrak. We're going to go 19.5 hours north to Chicago, where apparently the weather is a lot better. Come with me and enjoy the video.
New Orleans Union Passenger Terminal dates from 1954, but transport fans can get much deeper nostalgia than that by riding New Orleans St. Charles streetcar, which dates to 1835 and is the oldest continuously operating streetcar line in the world. Inside the station, my first job was to check my baggage. You can take 2 cases up to £50 each when riding Amtrak sleeper cars. The railway station itself is from an era after the golden age of US railroads, but before the serious decline of rail transportation, and is therefore an interesting building with some slightly austere post-war design and a funky mural reflecting New Orleans' unique jazz culture. Surprisingly, there are a couple of food outlets here. Not too bad for a station with just 17 trains a week. Although sleeper car passengers can get into the Magnolia Room, the closest thing Amtrak has to a lounge here in New Orleans. I don't advise arriving too early for trains here. The station isn't big and boarding doesn't happen until about 15 minutes before you leave.
Oh, the rain is actually coming through the roof. Anyway, we're just about to head up now to Chicago, over 1,500 kilometers by rail. I'm looking forward to it. It's the city of New Orleans.
You need to check in with your sleeper car attendant on boarding. Today, my helpful attendant is being shadowed by a new member of staff. Usually, there is just one attendant per car.
Hi, how you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing great. You mind if I take a quick peek at that?
5,800.
Okay, I've got you going to room B. Are you traveling alone today?
I am up to Chicago.
Okay, what you're going to do, you're going to go to the left, up the stairway. When you get up the stairway, you'll be facing this direction.
Yep.
Going this way, okay?
I got it.
Watch your step going forward, okay?
Thanks a lot, cheers.
How you doing today?
Good, thank you.
You mind if I take a look at that?
You sure can.
Oh boy, nice to be out the rain.
Yep.
Today I'm doing something I've never done before on Amtrak. Take a look at this. I got the upgrade to a bedroom. Wow. Oh, there's a lot more space in here than a roomette. Let's settle down, hey?
Here's what a superliner roomette looks like. Now, this is usually how I travel on Amtrak, but today I paid just $150 extra for my bedroom upgrade.
This waterproof jacket is soaking. I might need that again at a smoke stop, so let's try and see if it will dry out by hanging up here. But wow, what a day to be heading out of Louisiana. It is a wet one.
The bedroom is really big, 6 feet 6 inches by 7 feet 6 inches in area, making it more than twice as big as the roomette, and it can sleep up to 3 people on the 1 double and 1 bunk bed. An extra chair is provided for the third person, but this one's definitely seen better days. There's far better storage in the bedroom than the roomette, although you'll still want to check large bags and only take into the room what you'll need for the trip. There's a table, just like the roomette, and the seat controls, lights, and the attendant call button all work in exactly the same way too. Aircon? Yes, above your head. You just use this lever to adjust the strength of the breeze, and there's an inbuilt sink here too. By far the biggest selling point of the bedroom is the ensuite private shower and toilet. Towels are provided, as are toiletries, but I advise you bring your own shampoo, as the toiletries are fairly basic. Now, the secret weapon of the bedroom, you can actually book 2 next to each other with an adjoining door if you're in a large party. Just call Amtrak on the phone to arrange that. Finally, be aware that like all sleeper accommodations on Amtrak, it locks only from the inside. Amtrak is safe, but still be mindful of leaving anything too valuable unattended in your room.
I'd like to thank you for choosing Amtrak for your choice of transportation. We hope you enjoy your ride. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, here in less than a minute or so, we'll be shoving off. Well, if everybody please get your tickets out. We'll be by momentarily to lift and scan everybody's tickets. Thank you.
And we're off. 19 hours and 1,503 kilometers. We'll head north up through Mississippi and Tennessee to Memphis via Jackson, Mississippi, before driving on overnight up to Chicago, north through Kentucky, a fairly direct route. The City of New Orleans train can trace its heritage back over 100 years, right back to the Panama Limited, which ran from 1911. And today Amtrak runs service daily up the Mississippi corridor using this superliner stock. It's the beginning of another epic Amtrak train trip. Your tickets will be checked properly and the sleeper host will welcome you shortly after departure. But once those formalities have been completed, it's time to head to the observation car. These superliner sightseer cars are the best place to hang out and feature a mix of individual and club face-to-face seats. Downstairs is the Amtrak Cafe, where coach passengers in the seats have to eat. It's well stocked, but there aren't too many healthy options here. Leave your diet at the door if you take Amtrak. As a sleeper car passenger, you're still of course allowed in here, and they won't say no to your money. Amtrak is slow. We wait a good 15 minutes for our southbound sister train to pass, so we can use the single line ahead. I'm travelling on this trip in November. It's low season, the train is half empty, the weather isn't great, but I'm nice and warm and dry inside, and seeing more of America than I would be if I flew.
Okay, so I did not get any lunch before I boarded the train, and the City of New Orleans only includes a dinner and a breakfast. So I've gone down to the cafe car and I've got myself this.
Yeah, this looks bad, but when you haven't eaten all day, this suddenly becomes very appetizing. And to be honest, you will never go hungry on Amtrak, even if the food is rarely memorable. We move across the Manchac Swamp and skirt Lake Pontchartrain, and it's worth noting the adjacent highway runs on a 36-kilometre bridge, one of the longest bridges anywhere in the world.
Not that you can tell, but we've actually just crossed the state line from Louisiana. We're going to be heading into Tennessee next, then Kentucky, and finally Illinois, where we'll finish our trip in Chicago.
Now, there might not be anything like in-flight entertainment on the train, but that's where today's video sponsor comes in, Blinkist, a super app for busy people like me, which helps me understand the most important things from over 5,500 books and podcasts in just 15 minutes. I've enjoyed using it to pick out what's important, and I have to say, listening to Richard Branson's autobiography while riding a train he used to run is definitely a vibe. I love that I don't have to read text and can multitask by using the listening facility.
Blink number 1. Virgin Atlantic's battle with British Airways presents a classic example of Richard Branson's resourcefulness.
leaving me free to do something else, or even window gaze while learning. I've also used Blinkist Connect, which, if you're a premium member, is available to share your plan between 2 different accounts. So if you've got a spouse or a friend who's also into books and podcasts, it's dead easy to share, make recommendations, and compare notes. 15 minutes is all it takes to learn anything from how to relax and unwind to the best ways to ask for a raise at work. Now that's less time than this YouTube video, so what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to start your 7-day free trial and get 25% off a premium membership. This is Macomb, Mississippi, one of 17 stops en route today. It's also the birthplace of Bo Diddley, one of the very early black guitar exponents at the vanguard of turning traditional blues into what we now know as American rock and roll in the 1950s. Our first smoke stop is Jackson, Mississippi, and an opportunity for some fresh air.
About an hour late, but it's actually turned out to be a really pleasant evening.
Smoke stops are where the train's crew sometimes change and where the train can be watered or fueled. These stations usually offer checked baggage facilities, unlike most of the smaller stops on today's route. A quick look at our progress shows we were actually an hour late, but the timetable is actually so padded we're only 20 minutes late before we leave. Amtrak has masses of timetable padding, so it can fit in with all the freight movements the private railroad companies have running all across the country. It's getting dark, so it's time to have the attendant make my bed and see about dinner. Oh yeah, that's a neat double bed there, a real luxury on any train anywhere in the world.
So this Amtrak route runs east of the Mississippi, and what that means is there's no formal dining car on board like you've seen in some of my other videos. Actually, all of the food is served down the observation car, and I think it's all microwaved, but you can either take the dinner in your room or you can head down to the observation car to eat, and I've chosen to go to the observation car and be a bit social. So let's head down and see exactly what I've got for dinner tonight.
Amtrak's flexible dining is not good. There was no proper menu, but I've got the PDF here for you, and I have to say my choice of the pork was not a wise one. It was pretty dry and miserable. I really hope Amtrak brings back full dining cars east of the Mississippi sometime soon, because a proper chef-cooked meal is one of the real pleasures of taking the train. Meanwhile, downstairs, the cafe is doing a roaring trade. Our approach to Memphis is slow and careful, crossing multiple railway flat crossings like this one, the sort you almost never see in Western Europe these days.
So this is Memphis. We'll be here for about 20 minutes while we take on some water and I think some fuel right up at the front there with the locomotive. Let me know, do you consider visiting a railway station and stepping on the platform visiting a place? I personally don't, but let me know in the comments below whether you would consider I to have visited Memphis on this trip. I've actually never been to Memphis before, and it's one of the big American cities that's still on my list to do properly.
The old station building here in Memphis is now a hotel. How times change. But it's otherwise quite pleasant and one of the nicer smoke stops I've had on Amtrak. Many passengers alight here and collect their bags, but I'm on this for the long haul.
As you can see behind me, we're just leaving Memphis now. It is 20 to 11 and it's pretty much time for me to head to bed for the night. But before I turn in, a little fact about this train and something that's going to happen tonight that only happens once a year.
It's November the 5th, which means that tomorrow in the early hours, daylight savings comes to an end and the clocks go back an hour. But our timetable stays the same as always, so to avoid being early, we will wait up to an hour in a siding somewhere. Now, that's definitely one way of approaching the problem. We leave Memphis and head north, past the Hernando de Soto Bridge and the Memphis Pyramid, and that's my cue to turn in for the night.
This bed is incredible, by the way. Look, I can almost starfish in it. It's at least as long as the Amtrak roomette beds, and I'd say it's almost twice as wide. It really is quite something. I really hope this doesn't spoil me for future trips. I really hope I can go back into a roomette after this. Anyway, time for bed. Good night. Right, time for a shower. Let's just check that it's working and there's some pressure, hey? Oh, looks good, looks good.
It's morning and it's time to see if we really did hang around for a bit last night to stay on time.
And there we go, look. That's where our 1 hour has come from. You see, at New Bern-Dyersburg, we were apparently an hour and 12 minutes late, and then the clock just skips back. Good morning, it's bright and early, just 6:05. We're at Champaign-Urbana here in Illinois, and it's the home straight now up to Chicago. I've already got my breakfast. We've got orange juice, a sausage and egg bialy, that looks nice, and of course a coffee. As you can see, it looks like a cracking morning behind me.
I really do miss the social aspect of full dining on Amtrak. Today, it's a bit lonely. As I said earlier, it's low season and I am an early riser on trains, but I wouldn't miss sunrise views like this for the sake of a lie-in.
As you can see, we're on the outskirts of Chicago now, and the electrified track here belongs to Metra, the suburban railway network of Chicago. Would you believe we're over half an hour early at the moment, and we're going to be taking the St. Charles airline into Chicago itself and then backing into the station from there. Sounds like a convoluted manoeuvre, but apparently we're well ahead of schedule, and yeah, I think this is the first time on Amtrak that I've been early.
The St. Charles airline takes us a little east and south of Union Station, where we eventually stop, reverse, and head into Union Station nice and early. I still haven't had a chance to ride these new Siemens Venture coaches in Amtrak's Midwest fleet. Hopefully, next time I'm in the States, I'll take a ride on one. It's journey's end, and don't forget to tip your sleeper car attendant for their help. Tipping is expected and customary on Amtrak for attendants and any dining car staff.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Thank you. Well, here we are, Chicago Union. Half an hour early. What a great trip that was. Now to get my bags.
And so, the end of another trip on Amtrak. I paid $611 one way, which is definitely one of the more affordable ways to try the Amtrak Bedroom. As a mostly solo traveller, I think the roomette generally offers much better value than the bedroom, even though the shower and lavatories are shared. But if I was travelling as a pair, I would try to get the bedroom every single time. Thank you so much for coming with me, and thank you again to Blinkist for sponsoring today's video. Click the link in the description to start your 7-day free trial and get 25% off a premium membership. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next video. Here's to a successful and healthy 2023 to you all. Bye-bye.